So welcome to video number 3, the third video in this series of TJ's bored and got nothing to do. In this video I'm going to be sharing my hints and tips for how to save you money or how to waste your money properly on whatever you're collecting. Now, I've been collecting stuff for most of my adult life. I'm a hoarder by nature, and I collect more or less anything. You'll see from my previous video, I've got a lot of stuff that's worth money, like this, and a lot of stuff that's got a lot of sentimental value that I just can't throw it away. May that be West Ham t-shirts or random bars in St Martin that I've been ridiculously drunk in. I'm going to be sharing my hints and tips with you about game collecting. Now, number one is, what do you actually want to collect? Now, this sounds really, really stupid, but what do you actually want to collect? Are you going to collect things for the sake of collecting things, just to say that you've physically got them? I kind of fell into this a little bit. I've got a lot of Xbox games that are up there that I own an Xbox 360, but I very rarely play it. I bought them because they were part of a bundle, because there was a load of PlayStation 2, like PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 4 bundle. I spent a couple £100 and there was a massive bundle of games. So I started collecting PlayStation 1 games and I fell into the bad habit of just going, yep, and collecting everything for any console I get my hand on. And it looks really impressive, but I only play about 30-40% of the games that I own. So make sure, if you are going to be a collector and you're going to collect things you actually want. Don't just fall into the same bad habits that I fell into, just to collect random stuff. Number 2 is space. This sounds really stupid again, but make sure you've got enough space to actually physically have your stuff. Now, I'm a massive fan of theme parks. I love Alton Towers, love the Merlin Entertainment Company, and I love Southend. I love roller coasters, but if I was to try and collect roller coaster harnesses or the bits, I wouldn't have enough space to be able to hold on to them. I've got a limited amount of space. Obviously, this is my bedroom. I've got things from theme parks. This Alton Towers piece of wood. It's official ride wood. I bought this because I knew if I didn't, I was like, oh, I need to buy it, because if I don't, I'm going to regret not buying it. So I bought it, and I've got nowhere to put it. There's nowhere in my room that I'm looking about now that I can think, I can put that on there and I can do this. So this just lives in the cupboard. Like, I can't put it on show, and make sure you've got enough space to put your stuff on display. You might be a collector that wants to keep his stuff locked away. That's entirely fine. If you're anything like me, a bit of a show-off, have your stuff on display. Make sure you've got enough space to look after it. And also, make sure that your things are secure. Like, this is it's quite a sturdy wooden bookshelf, but if I put my PlayStation 2 games on it, it would fall down, it'd obviously break, just because it's not strong enough to be able to support the weight of all of them games. So make sure also, when it comes to collecting, you've got enough space for your stuff, and also make sure your cupboards or whatever you're going to store them in, shelves, whatever, has got enough strength to be able to support them. Now, number 3 is kind of a given, really. It's ask your friends. Ask and you shall receive, as they say in the Bible somewhere. Now, there's quite a lot of my family that have got quite a lot of collectible stuff like this. So ask your family, ask your sisters, ask your brothers, ask your best mates, ask your friends, ask your colleagues if they've got any collections. There's quite a few people out there that have got stuff in their loft, or they've got their garage or whatever, and they don't necessarily know how much it's worth. So if they want to get rid of it, you can take it off them, and it makes your collection look even bigger. So I highly recommend you ask your friends and family. I got a game, I should have prepared this. I got a game down here that my sister bought me, or she gave me, should I say. Oh, that's it. This is making it in. This is all going in. Now, my sister bought me this. This is a game. I should have prepared this earlier on if I knew I was going to say this. This sort of bits and bobs. Now, this is a random little game. It's the best fun you can have on TV. My sister had this. She was in a loft or whatever. She just gave it to me. It's an interesting little thing, and am I going to play it every day? No. But is it a cool thing to own? Of course it is. So make sure you are asking your friends and family, or whoever, colleagues, whoever, if they've got any games consoles they don't want, and either they'll sell to you cheap because you're mates, or they give them to you for free, and it's a win-win situation. So my next tip is bundles. You see them all over eBay, and you tend to find they're quite cheap, because obviously there's a lot of games in there, such as like FIFA 07, that no one actually wants that game. It's not worth anything. FIFA's released every single year, so it's not worth anything. So people sell games in lots of bundles. So if you're new to collecting and you're thinking, oh, I don't really know if I should buy a bundle, I highly recommend you do, because there's lots of games that you can buy out there that are very expensive. But when people sell them in a bundle, they just chuck in bundles. They don't write specific names. Now, I bought this bundle. I actually went through this earlier on. See, I'm a little bit prepared. I went through these games earlier on. I bought these for, I think it was a tenner. I bought them maybe 8 or 9 months ago, put them in a cupboard, totally forgot about them, didn't really realise until about 5 minutes ago before filming this video. I was like, oh wow, these. I actually Googled this game. This is a 6-game cartridge. I have no idea. I've never played the games before. just a game in it. But I bought in a bundle, about 6 or 7 games, and I thought it was quite nice and cheap. It's about a tenner. This game is worth £50. If you went to CEX, they would give you £40 for it, and they'd sell it for, I think it was about £80 or £90. Why? I don't know. But I bought that whole bundle for a tenner. Next one is where to actually look for your games. Now, I highly recommend you check out eBay, places like Gumtree, because a lot of them places, a lot of them think you can search anything. You search any item you want, and you can search the exact results and find them specific games. So I highly recommend you check out eBay or any places online. Also, charity shops and second-hand antique shops, they're a great place to look. One thing I would say is don't just take it at face value. If you find a game and you think, oh, crack, it's only £1, have a look inside of it. You tend to find a lot of disc-based games. The discs actually will be owned by kids that don't care about the games. The disc will be scratched up. So make sure you are checking out the games that you look at. And also, you find this quite a lot in charity shops and second-hand shops. They value a game, especially on eBay as well, to be fair. They value a game, say, £300. They saw a Sonic mint condition for £300 on eBay, so they're going to sell their Sonic for £300, even though it's not worth £300 because it's in terrible condition, the box is ripped, whatever. So make sure you are checking out charity shops, second-hand shops. If you go and shop in charity shops, of course, you're helping the charity out and you're making a good deal. You tend to find a lot of charity shops will sell games for like £1. So I highly recommend you grab the CEX app or any app wherever you are in the world and scan the app to see how much it's worth. If CEX sell it for £1 and the charity shop is selling it for £1, of course, buy it. If this charity shop sell it for £1.50 and CEX selling it for £1, if you want to buy it for 50p over the price, feel free. Of course, you're doing something good for charity. On the other hand, something that I noticed, I bought about 5 or 6 games for £1 each. And there was a few of the games, Jackie Chan Adventure, I think it's about 15 quid. They were selling it for 50p. And I recently lost my job, but that's by the by. But I just got paid, so I was like, oh, fine, I'll do it. I actually gave them a tenner for the game. They were shocked that I just didn't spend 50p on it. But the actual game was worth 15, 20 quid. So I was like, I'll give them a bit more money. So if you do find a cheap one and you know it's expensive, maybe give them a few quid. If you do find it cheap and you want to get it cheap, buy it cheap. So I highly recommend you check out the charity shops. So next place, it's a place where you can also find games, but it's a lot of advice. I tend to find I know very little about collecting. I only know the specifics of what I collect, but there's a lot of game shops out there, or the specific places you can go that will deal with the specific thing that you collect. No matter what you collect, if it's Airfix models or stamps, there will be places, forums on the internet, Facebook groups. There'll be somewhere that you can ask for information about what you'll want to collect. It's a wonderful, weird industry. I love being part of the games collector industry, as it were, because there's loads of people out there. There's a lot of lovely, nice people that set up forums that if you've got any questions, you can ask. There is not a problem at all. If you've got any questions, feel free to ask me. I know absolutely nothing. As I said, with the game shops, make sure you're checking out your local game shops, because if you go into them and ask them a question, of course they're going to answer the question about the games, because that is the reason they've got a game shop, is because they love games. Well, I suppose you'd like to think. You'd like to think, so I say, that they would be into whatever you're collecting. So ask them. A side note on this is, of course, if the game's worth a tenner, Grand Theft Auto 5, for instance, on the PlayStation 4 is worth £10, they're going to sell it for a tenner. Of course, you get it cheaper elsewhere, but you might as well spend a few extra quid, get a bit of advice on whatever you're collecting, have a nice little chat about the industry. So I highly recommend you check out game shops or online forums. I'm actually going to include a few of the forums and YouTube channels that I follow, that I get a lot of advice from, down below in the description. So check them out, and there's a few forums that I'm part of as well. The next tip is about cracked cases or in bad condition cases. They're not always a bad thing. You could find a game that you've always wanted to play and it's come in a disc or a case. Specifically PlayStation 1 are really bad for it. I can't grab one. PlayStation 1 back games are quite bad for it. Egypt 2, once again, I didn't know there was an Egypt 1. It doesn't matter if the game case is cracked, because of course, you know, especially PlayStation 1 games or it's box games, Nintendo 64, the box is going to get a bit nifty. A Nintendo 64 is different, don't worry about them. But games where you can actually take the sleeve out, don't worry about the quality of the case, because you can always go to a game shop or a charity shop and you can pick up a mint condition case and swap it over. The price difference between a cracked game and a mint condition game in good nick is quite a lot, quite substantial, to be fair with you. So don't look at a game that you want with a cracked case and go, oh, I don't want it because it's rubbish, and throw it away. You threw it there. buy it, have a look at it, and then swap the case. That is one of the best things I can recommend. I've bought quite a few cases individually, because obviously games like FIFA, games that are like 20p, you can buy 50 of them for £1. Well, if you do find 50 of them for £1, let me know. But yeah, don't worry about the condition of the case. Just swap it and replace it, and I won't tell if you don't. My next piece of advice is don't do this for the money. If you're collecting things for the sake of their monetary value, you're not really a collector. You're just a buyer and a seller. You're not collecting because you love what you are collecting. So make sure you are being specific about what you're collecting, because if someone says to you, buy this for 20 quid because in 50 years it's going to be worth 200 quid, it might not be. There's a lot of games that I've bought that I was like, oh, I'm going to keep buying this now, and in 10 years, because I started collecting about 10, 15 years ago, it'll be worth a lot more money. Very rarely, especially with games, does that happen. Occasionally it does, but that's very rarely. So make sure you're doing this for the right reasons, and make sure that you're collecting stuff that you actually want to collect to either play with or clean or make yourself look good. If you're doing it for monetary value, you're going to be spending a lot more money, because I've spent more money on these games than if I sold them I would get, which... yeah, it's a bit disappointing, if I'm honest with you, and I kind of started collecting to be these will be worth money, bundle, 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 and I've got a lot of games, but the monetary value, I've spent more than I'm ever going to get back, and even if I keep these for 50 years, am I going to get more money? And imagine trying to put these games in storage. So yeah, so if you are going to collect something, make sure you've got enough space for it, make sure you're shopping in the charity shops. Bundles are not always a bad thing. Retro game shops, make sure you check out your local one. Google, I'm sure they'll be able to help you. Buy cracked game discs, or not discs, game cases. Buy cracked cases. If you want the game, buy the game. You can replace the case and they're a lot cheaper. And if you do find 50 for £1, please message me below. And finally, if you're going to be a collector, don't be a collector and just buy stuff for the money, because you're really missing out on collecting something that you'd actually enjoy spending time with, or you spend time playing as much as I have with this. There's a lot of games that I own that I should play a lot more. At the moment, I'm playing a lot of Fortnite. I play it more because it's an online forum to play with my friends, and obviously isolation and COVID's not helped with the socialising aspect of my life. But I've stopped collecting games at the moment. I'm not collecting. There's no more games here. There's a few more, but I've stopped collecting because the main game that I play is Fortnite, and that's a free online game. Who would have thought that after spending quite a few thousand of my own pounds, I'd play a game that you can download for free? So, but that doesn't matter, because I'm collecting because I enjoy sitting in front of these things, and I enjoy picking a game out and giving it a go. There's a lot of games that I own that mean a lot to me. Theme Park World, I've got a lot of memories of this. This is a terrible game, by the way. A lot of memories. And there's some games that I own that I bought specifically for the monetary value. But the majority of the stuff that I've collected is stuff that I've either played, I've got a memory with, or I enjoy. I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, I know nothing. Anyone that says they know anything is lying. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you haven't, again, why are you here? If you have, much love, give it a thumbs up thing. And if I could hit 10 views on this video, that would be phenomenal. See you again.